All right, we are live. How's it going,
Hey,
L? How you doing, buddy?
hey, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
It's spring break. It's spring break, and I've just been chilling all week. I've been sleeping a lot, actually. I've
Oh
noticed.
wow,
I wish
that's you catching up on sleep?
yeah. I did a 12-hour stream on Sunday, and then I've just been sleeping ever since then. So,
Holy, 12 hours. What'd you play?
Tunic, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. I love Tunic. You've been
Okay.
playing it now, so
Yes, I have been playing it. Yeah.
And then I didn't realize that I did this. I played about 7 hours of Star Wars: The Old Republic and about 4 hours of Tunic. Was the split there, and then I was like, oh shit, I played Star Wars: The Old Republic way too long. But anyways, let's get going. Welcome to Respawn, please, the weekly video game podcast where two dum-dums talk all things video games, from news to musings and to the games themselves. I'm your host, the solitary gamer, the lover of stories. I forgot my own titles for a second. Jesus. And with me is my co-host, the Mercy Main, and the curious gamer, the stupendous, the wondrous, the late L.
The late. Hold on.
Makes it sound like you died.
I know it makes it sound like I died.
But I meant to
Jesus.
say we're late because of you.
Oh, gotcha.
L is not dead yet. L did not die
I'm still
yet.
here.
Yeah.
I'm still here. Just playing games.
He was just
Oh,
late,
Lord.
the bastard. No, I'm kidding.
Sorry.
All right. Oh man, now you're modulating. You're like distorting on my side now.
Oh, I can turn myself down.
Okay. I'm just. It's such a delicate balance. I hate this stuff.
Hey.
All right. Yeah, you're good. All right.
Nice.
So we have a full slate ahead for today. We have Switch has folders, new Xbox controller designs, which some of them look awesome. Some of them are very weird. We'll talk about the very weird ones here in a little bit. My cat just ran by. We are going to do a mini review of Mario Kart 8 tracks. I don't know if you've played them yet, but I have some thoughts on them.
Okay.
I'm going to have to also turn on my Switch to look up the names of these things because I don't remember all the track names.
I can look them up.
Okay. And then we have a review roundup for Ghostwire Tokyo, Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which all of these games come out tomorrow. All of them. All three of these games. They come out tomorrow.
Really?
So tomorrow is a jam-packed day of video games because it's the 25th of March. And yeah, everything's coming out tomorrow, man. It's insane.
Holy
March-
moly, that's crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot of games coming out tomorrow. It's insane. So we have a lot to talk about, but let's get started with the big news, the news that's taking the world by storm right now. Everybody was celebrating it, and then everybody quickly realized how stupid it was. Switch has folders, and it's a
my
very
God.
stupid design. The Switch has folders. This has been a request for a long time, and for good reason. The 3DS had folders. I utilized the 3DS folders a lot because I'm a crazy person, and I made a folder for my Pokemon games, and I made a folder for
Gotcha.
my Fire Emblem games.
You're just
Those
very
are the
organized.
Those are the only two folders I had because that's all I ever played on my 3DS was Pokemon or Fire Emblem. That's it. But the Switch finally has them, and yay, that's cool. I'm glad they have them, but it's really fucking stupid how they have it. It's really stupid.
No, it's wild because like it kind of reminds me of you. You remember how like I think a few updates ago they rolled out Bluetooth capability for headphones, but it was
Yeah.
always in the system.
It was
Like,
always in
they
the
just-
system. Yeah.
They just like turned it on. They just flipped a switch and they're like, "Here you
You
go."
guys can use Bluetooth now. Yeah, I remember that. That was like almost a year ago now, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that, and
Yeah.
so it was crazy. But it's so funny that they're implementing this now. And then what you were telling me, where like when you do the folders, you have to go all the way to the end of your line of games that you have on there,
Mhm.
and it's like you can't even move them. You can't even really organize it that well, you know?
Well, so the way it is, you have your folders. You have to go all the way to your like games library. After you see that line of games, you go there. You click on the left button, right? Yeah. You click on the left bumper. I don't know what the actual button's called. The Z left button or something like that. Here, I have the
Yeah.
Pro controller in front of me. Where's it at? Right here. No, it's just the left. It's just the left bumper. I have the Pro controller. Anyways, you click on that and then you create your groups. It takes you to groups. They're not called folders, by the way. They're called groups. And then you can organize them in groups and you can arrange them within that group. But the kicker here is that you can't bring that group, that folder, to the front page. So you still have the line of games. And then to access your group, you have to go all the way to that, library and then click the left button, and then you have your groups, which which is sort of organizing your stuff, but that just seems like too many unnecessary steps. Also, kind of defeats the purpose of being able to organize your games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
No, definitely.
I experimented with this. I created a folder, a group for my Pokemon games because I have nothing but Pokemon games on my. I have Pokemon, and then I have Mario Kart, and Mario,
Oh my
and then Mario
God.
plus Rabbids. I have Mario plus Rabbids.
Okay.
And so I created a group of my Pokemon games. So Sword and Shield, Diamond Pearl, the MOBA Pokemon game, which his name is escaping me. I can't remember. Did you ever play that, by the way? No.
No, I never played that one.
Yeah. So I have my Pokemon group with all of that, plus Pokemon Home to trade my Pokemon across Sword and Shield. And then I have my Mario Kart folder. It's just my Mario Kart folder. There's like it's just by itself. It's lonely. But yeah, like I can't bring that to the like as soon as I turn on my Switch that I see it there or anything like that, which is a big bummer. Maybe that'll get added down the line. Maybe they'll get enough feedback and people are like, well, we gotta add. We should be able to let them put it on their front page, I guess you could call it now. But yeah, it's so weird how they have it because it just worked for 3DS. It just worked.
Exactly. I wonder why they didn't just kind of take like that model of like, people enjoyed it this way, so let's keep it like that versus it's somewhere in there. You got to go dig through and find the folder and put it together. No, we're not going to let you just be able to easily move the folder or even move it at all. And so
it's so weird. It is what it is. I mean, I'm glad they have it. The groups are cool, I guess. It just doesn't do enough. You know what I mean? It doesn't do enough right now because like it's more of a burdensome to like go in there because like I've set up my groups. I'm never gonna go back there again to my library. I have like because all the games that I want to play is already on the line anyways. Like so it's like there's no point in me going to the groups. Like the games I don't want to play already show up because it's Pokemon. Granted, I guess I shouldn't be complaining about this anyway since it's just 3 games I'm about to list off, but it's Pokemon Sword, Pokemon Legends Arceus, and then Mario Kart, because those are the 3 games that I'm playing right now because I'm shiny hunting and Sword. I got to beat Legends Arceus at some point, and then I've been playing the new tracks in Mario. So,
gotcha.
So it's not like it's a burdensome to me, but it's also kind of annoying just because, like, I don't know. The idea of it's stupid. I guess. I don't know.
I get it. I don't even know what made them like roll out this feature of people like were people asking for this or does it say or anything? Like
so yes, people have been asking for it. People have been asking for a PlayStation as well. Eventually
gotcha.
PlayStation will also have it, but we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I mean this is something that has been asked for organization purposes. Like I'm a crazy person. I like organizing my stuff and folders and everything. But I don't know. I don't know how many people were clamoring for it, but I know I was clamoring for it. And I know there was a section of Nintendo fans that were also like, why isn't this a feature when you've had it on 3DS and stuff? I don't know. Did it have it on the Wii and Wii U? I can't remember. I never had a Wii U, so I don't know. And then I can't remember crap about the Wii, so.
Yeah, I think it might have. Man, it's been so long. I was going to ask too, like these updates that Nintendo's been doing, like how long has this system been out? Has it been 5 years?
It came out in 2007 or 2017.
I was like, Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
technology.
Switch. They shadow dropped it, and then it's been weird. It's ahead of the curve. Anyways, no, 2017. So
okay, so it's
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Man, I would have think these updates almost seem like something that should have been almost day one, or. But I guess maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe they're just doing this because I know we've talked about it on a previous episode where maybe Switch 2 or I don't know what the next version is coming out and they're just I guess going to be like this is also going to be in the next one, the next generation or whatever.
Yeah. Well, we shall see. I mean, Windows. Nintendo.
Yeah, that's
Why
right.
Can't I talk?
Windows.
God damn. What is wrong with me? I can't speak. No, it's Nintendo. I still firmly believe that there's gonna be a Switch 2 or whatever like around the corner next year, announced next year or something, and maybe this is all leading to that. But at the same time, it's like, well, it took them 5 years to implement it in the Switch. Is it going to take 5 years to implement in whatever's next?
Yeah, no.
Nintendo does weird Nintendo things, the weird Nintendo decisions.
They
it's so
do.
bizarre.
Man, yeah, Nintendo moves to their own beat.
Yeah.
They do whatever they want. They don't care. They just like, no, we know you're gonna come back because of the nostalgia, and we know that you're going to purchase this because it's like, I don't. Nintendo just has a lock on like the older generation for the nostalgia, and then the kids that come up, the young kids playing
Yeah.
Mario and all these other games. So they're like, we don't care, and we got all this money. We're gonna do what we want.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I'll still play those games.
Yeah, and Nintendo is like doesn't give a crap about this whole idea of console war crap,
Oh yeah, they're always they do not care.
And like the thing is, Nintendo systems and games are always going to sell, like because everybody I shouldn't say everybody loves Mario, but Mario and Zelda has that nostalgia where everybody's always going to play it. Same with Metroid, Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, all of that just has like you said, nostalgia going all the way back to early '90s, late '80s. With the SNES and all that, or NES, whichever one was 80s.
No, definitely. 80s? Yeah, I think so. But yeah, no, Nintendo's smart about that because, like, yeah, they're all like, we're doing our own thing. We don't care about the competition. We're just gonna do us. And and people love them for that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then don't they continue to like outsell everybody? Is that a thing? I can't remember. Okay, I might have misheard that.
Yeah.
Well, I know the best-selling console of all time is PS2.
Yeah,
right.
Sony
PS2.
systems still outsell and stuff. Like software-wise, it's harder to say because, like, I mean, they have Pokemon, which is like, the biggest franchise, like, in the whole freaking world. Like, it's the number one selling thing, bigger than everything else, pretty much. It's insane how much money Pokemon makes for Game Freak and Nintendo and Pokemon Company and all that. Like all this stuff, it's like crap, dude. Pokemon makes bukus of money. It's insane.
Exactly.
But
can you imagine in 20 years, like just another generation of Pokemon come out, and you'll be like, oh, I remember when it was.
I'll still listen. I'm gonna still be playing it. If they keep pumping out those Pokemon games, they could call it Poop Brown Edition, and I will still play it.
I get it. No,
they're gonna run out of colors that they'll get to Poop Brown. I'll just be like, damn. Guess I'm getting the Poop Brown edition.
Have you heard of the new poop Pokemon that they're introducing? No.
It's a legendary, man. It's the strongest Pokemon in existence. It's insane. It's a special attack.
Crazy.
Poop sludge. Anyway, moving on from the folders talk or the group talk or whatever the hell you want to call it. New Xbox controller designs got announced. So they have a spring collection coming out. The colors are pretty damn. Have you looked at the controllers? They look gorgeous.
No, I'm about to look at them right now.
They are beautiful. And they have some of the greatest names, and the descriptions of them are amazing. So I'm gonna list off the names, and I'm gonna list their descriptions.
Oh, wow,
and they are awesome. They are awesome. So first up, we have the Lavender Swirl, and they describe it as mesmerizing, swirly, psychedelic goodness. Next up is Cotton Candy Blue, sugary sensation inspired by the sweetest of childhood treats. Next up is Pink Lemonade, icy cold and refreshing, designed to brighten up any gaming session. Then we have Purple Camo. There we go.
Camo.
Purple Camo. Pastel Purple meets Rough and Tumble Camo. And then we have Pastel Dream, soothing fades that turn even the most stressful session into a smooth symphony of gaming prowess.
Wow.
These are the greatest descriptions of a controller ever. You're like what the hell?
If you just took out the names of the controllers and you just read the description, you were like, you're describing a drink, some sort of food item, some candy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They do look cool though. I dig the spring collection. It is very spring, very colorful, very vibrant, very,
very it's the pastel colors, like it's the classic. It looks like spring. Like the only thing that I don't like about this is that they're wired. They're not wireless.
Oh yeah.
They are wired. But they look awesome. Like I want to get them all just to put on the shelf behind me, and just have because I'm a crazy person. I've noticed that I like to collect controllers. I've started collecting all of the PlayStation 5 controllers, and since I got my Xbox Series S, I kind of like, well, maybe I should start collecting all these Xbox controllers too. Because like right now, I have my Elite controller that I paid
Yeah.
ungodly amount for.
Man.
It's probably the best controller I've ever used though. But then I have my PlayStation controllers behind me. Well, some of them. I haven't put up my purple and blue. Yeah, I haven't put my purple and blue up yet. But I have all the PlayStation controllers you can get, so maybe I need to start collecting Xbox controllers too. This makes me want to. This makes me want to.
I was looking at this. Wait, no. There's also, I saw like an 8-bit Do Ultimate Wired controller for Xbox. Have you seen that?
No.
So it's like, it looks like it. I'm not gonna lie. It looks very
this
kind
thing,
of
yeah.
yeah. And so that looks kind of cool. Even though I guess I don't see I guess it's trying to be kind of retroish.
Yeah.
Stuff.
So I'm gonna hold up the Pro controller for the Switch. It looks exactly like the Switch Pro controller, like the same shape and everything. Same shape.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more buttons there, but
yeah,
it's like the same shape of it and everything.
Wow. Yeah, it does. I just realized, I was like, why does this look familiar?
Yeah.
It made me think of I was gonna say. So then, is this spring collection? So they're gonna have more, like a summer collection, or
Probably.
I
mean, that's what it makes it sound like, right?
Yeah.
I think that would be a fun, cool trend to have, like, just rotating designs and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
because like there is a market for this. Like there are collectors like me that I like. I seeing these made me go, I want to order these. I want to buy these. I want to collect these. I probably would never use them just because of the wired part. Because my Xbox Series S is like on the other side of the room. Basically, I don't have it really. I don't have it really where the wire would. Make sense. You know what I mean? So like, I have to play with my wireless controllers and stuff. So. And plus, it's 2022. Who the fuck still uses wired controllers? I guess
no, definitely.
I guess it cuts back on input lag, but even input lag is not really a big thing anymore. So because that was a thing back in like original OG Xbox and PlayStation 2 and stuff, where you could get wireless controllers, but there was input lag. But then that started going away with Xbox 360 and PS3 and all that. So, but yeah, it's 2022. Like, who still uses the wired controllers?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
It's very, very true. I meant to ask, so for that Xbox Elite controller, is that something that besides your Xbox, do you also can use it on PC, or is it only?
I use it on. It's Bluetooth connected, so you can connect it if your your PC has Bluetooth capabilities in it, which most PCs do these days.
Yeah.
You can connect that way. So yeah, I'm able to connect with it. So I switch back and forth. By and large, most of the games I play on PC, I use mouse and keyboard for, because it's like I play MMOs or I play games like Crusader Kings and stuff like that, where I'd rather use a mouse and keyboard. But like if I'm gonna play like a shooter or something, I do prefer playing on
a controller.
Yeah, which is weird because people say mouse and keyboard is better, but I'm like, well, I've always growing up as an Xbox kid, I always loved using the controller as my go-to. As my go-to method of playing with playing shooters and stuff like that, but I really don't play shooters that much anymore either. And then RPGs, it doesn't matter one way or another.
True.
So
no, definitely, because I was the same way. Kind of coming up, in the controller was my first thing. I think, to be honest, I didn't actually get on PC gaming until late in life. It wasn't really until I built my own computer. No. I got late until my little brother, when he first started playing Overwatch. So it's his fault that I like Overwatch so much. But then it took me a while to get used to WASD or whatever, because I was like, what the heck is this? WASD. And then after that, ever since then, I've just been gone and just on straight PC. And then every now and then I have a little wired controller that I connect to the PC when I play, like, for some reason I play Dying Light with it, and it's easy for Dying Light to be played on the controller.
Don't fucking mention Dying. What is wrong with you? Why are you mentioning Dying Light, dude? God, I hate that.
I like the game. I like it.
Yeah, the game changer with the Elite controller is the back pedals. So there's little back pedals right here that you can
assign it different
you
commands?
can assign it. You can assign it commands and stuff. This is how I've been playing Elden Ring when I play Elden Ring, which I haven't touched in like about 2 weeks now. But like I have like the dodge and all of that assigned back here, so I can free up. It's just easier.
Yeah, it just makes you quicker to move and do things.
And trying to play with a normal, because I did use my normal Xbox One or Xbox Series XS controller, whatever. Trying to use that to play Elden Ring, I was like, nope, not going back to the. I'm going back to the Elite controller. So back to these. we got sidetracked there. Back to these controllers though. They look gorgeous. They make me want to eat them. They look tasty. I mean, just the descriptions alone were like amazing to me. I just love the descriptions. It's like, God, man, these descriptions is what probably makes me want them even more.
Yeah,
The descriptions,
no, definitely.
the lavender swirl, mesmerizing, swirly, psychedelic goodness. Like,
They
why
have,
would you use that? Why would you use that to describe a controller?
Whoever came up with that in marketing, they did a good job.
Yeah,
Just describing a controller.
yeah. And then there was the OtterBox Easy Grip controller shell. It's a shell
Yeah.
for the Xbox Series X and S controllers, which I don't think I would ever use this, but I mean, I guess it helps you. I mean, it's supposed to help you grip the controller better. And my cat just jumped on the. Yeah, let's move my cat. He wants to be on stream, but
That's hilarious.
But yeah, like I guess it makes sense to grip the controllers better. But
Yeah.
And then if you look, they have like two different designs for the grip. They have like very narrow grip, and then they have wider grips. On
You know
them.
what the grips remind me of?
What's up?
It reminds me of Frieza from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
It reminds me of Frieza so much. I looked at it and I was like, "Is that a Frieza design?"
Man, that's awesome. Like. Yeah, I didn't notice that. Until you just said that. That's awesome. Yeah, so like they got some cool controller stuff, but yeah, I do like the Power Ace enhanced wired controllers for Xbox Series X and S. Like I said, they look beautiful. They just look They look amazing. So, and then. Nice. On the other side of it, the one that made me laugh. I don't know why it made me laugh, but I like it. We have two controllers that are inspired by Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie.
Oh, really?
Hold on, click at that. They're furry. These are furry controllers.
Oh my god.
Blue and red. Blue for Sonic, red for Knuckles.
Of course. Oh yeah.
They look amazing. I want them. Just again for the collector's reasoning, I just want to collect them. Like I just want to have them behind me, put them on a little controller stand because they look awesome. They look ridiculous. I would never in a million years use these controllers, but I would love to. I would love to own them and show them off.
That's hilarious.
And then go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's just funny.
Yeah, and then along with it, Xbox also has a special edition Xbox Series S, which has Sonic and Knuckles on it. With the the Xbox, Series S has like a big fan on the side of it that looks like a speaker. Well, they have a gold ring around it for the rings of Sonic and all that.
Oh yeah.
It looks awesome if you scroll down to it on the page that I have in the dock. I wish I should show. I should be showing this on the stream, but oh well, who cares? I'm getting all of this from the Xbox blog, anyways. So, but the Xbox Series S special edition Sonic looks actually pretty dang cool too. But yeah, it's Sonic and Knuckles facing off with the ring above their heads. Looks really cool. Are you a big fan of Sonic?
Kinda. I mean, I kind of caught Sonic late. I liked Knuckles a lot. Knuckles was cool, and then Shadow was pretty cool when he came out.
Shadows was the edgy one.
Yeah,
he had a gun. He had a gun.
He had a gun.
He had a gun.
You're like, he has a gun. You're like, what?
What?
But but yeah, no, I caught on late, and then I played like a few Sonic games here and there.
Yeah.
Man, those furry controllers are so funny.
They look so bizarre, and because like, is Sonic and Knuckles furry? Are they furry?
In the movie, I think isn't Sonic furry?
I don't know, man. I don't remember. The movie felt like a fever dream, so I don't remember much of it.
Basically, that's what it was. I think they are furry in the movies, and so it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I know in the cartoon and in the video games, of course, they don't look furry. They don't.
Yeah, they look smooth.
They look very smooth. Yeah, like they're wearing
smooth
a suit
and glossy. Is how I would describe Sonic.
Exactly.
Tails is the only one that ever looked like he had depth. Oh well, no, Amy also looked like she had depth too.
Oh yeah.
If you remember Amy, that's her name, right? The pinkish.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want these controllers. I don't really particularly care about Sonic. I'm not the biggest Sonic fan, but I do like these controllers. I do like the controllers. I think they look dope. Again, they're furry. I don't think I would ever use them. I wonder how hot they would get,
Yeah, and then your hands start sweating and it starts absorbing your sweat.
Yeah, like how gross those would be. Like,
I know.
You use them and then like a month later they're all moldy and gross. Don't even think about it. It's disgusting. I'm also wondering like how long it would take for like all that furry stuff just fall off too.
To fall off, yeah. And I wonder if underneath the fur, if it's like smooth like an Xbox controller.
Yeah,
and you
they just
like,
glued they just glued
yeah, they just glued it on there piece
Yeah.
by piece.
Yeah, just individual hand. It wasn't even done by machines. It was done by people. You know.
Exactly.
Anyways,
Just
this joke is stupid.
oh my god.
All right. So that's the Xbox controller designs, though. I thought like all the controller designs, except for the grip one. The grip one kind of throws me through a loop, but I thought all the designs were solid. You know, makes me want.
They seem pretty cool.
Yeah, they made me want to get them. I don't believe the Sonic ones you can get. I believe that's only.
I think that's just the sweepstakes, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
it's just the
contest?
sweepstakes.
Yeah.
I did do that. I did enter the sweepstakes. I doubt I'll win, but if I win,
Oh,
let me tell you.
come on the episode, you just go boom.
boom! Look what I got!
Show-
I got these fucking controllers. Pew 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 pew. Also, I got an Xbox. If I do win this, you know what I'm gonna do with the Xbox?
What's that?
Gonna give it away. Gonna give it away.
Oh, that'd be
yeah.
cool.
But
you keep
so I
the
won it from
controllers.
a giveaway, and then I give away.
Give it away again.
Yeah. I just want the controllers. I don't care about the Xbox itself.
I got it.
All right. So next up is we're going to get into the reviews, the review roundup, and then we're going to get into our discussion question. We have a very deep philosophical question to get to, but first, Mario. Well, let's start with Tunic. Actually, I want to hear your thoughts on Tunic. Everybody knows my thoughts on Tunic. I love Tunic. It's the best game ever made. 100%. I don't care what anybody says.
Tunic. I'll tell you, I'm still playing through Tunic, but so far, it's so interesting because there's parts of me like when you play Tunic. For those of who haven't played it or are playing it, or who just don't know, Tunic is this. What would you call it? Like a 3D? Not is it 3D? Would you? I guess
It's like a pseudo 3D. It's like a
Pseudo
3D world, but
yeah,
presented as 2D.
exactly. Think of Zelda. It's basically like a Zelda, like you were saying earlier, meets Dark Souls, and you're kind of like trying to. I want to say you're trying to. I'm still in the part where I'm still trying to hit the. What are they called? The bells? Yeah, the bells.
Oh yeah, you get the bell towers.
Yeah, the bell towers. I got one, and now I'm working on.
So you killed the captain guard, or
yeah. And so it's so much fun. There's no talking. People make noises. Enemies make noises. They go, "Urgh." Yeah, they do. Yeah,
I love it.
But you're trying to like. I think I figured out a point in the plot because I miss over stuff sometimes, and I went to this golden door, and you kind of see this little scene happen with there's a spirit fox. That's what I'll say.
The fox god.
Yeah, the fox goddess or god. Yo, there was one thing. Look, hold on, real quick. I want to say this as I'm talking about this. There's one thing I got scared and I ran away from it. Do you know the windmill house? You know where you can buy items.
Yeah.
When you first walk in
the
there,
fucking thing, the skeleton scared
the fuck out of me. I walked in. I was like, "This is the boss. I'm leaving," and I just left. And I didn't know that wasn't a boss. It's basically like you buy items there.
Yeah, you buy.
And I got scared, and I was like, "Well, if it's a boss, let me figure it out. If it's a boss." And sure enough, it came out, and then all of a sudden, items came out. I was like, "Oh, this person's a shop fox."
Yeah, this demon thing from the depths of darkness. It just comes out, and it's like, "Do you want to buy something?"
Yeah.
See, this is my theory on that: is that you're selling your bits of your soul. Like the coins you're collecting. I don't think this is true at all. This is how I interpret it because I think like that. Because I too, when I first saw that, was like, "What the fuck is this?"
It scared the hell out of me.
I was like, "Am I about to fucking fight the end boss here? Was I not supposed to go in this room?" And then it's like, "Yeah, here's some items." Yeah, dude,
and so
stock up on those items. Let me tell you.
Yes, no, I've learned my lesson many of times because I've died so many times. But the game is so much fun, and so you're trying to. At the beginning, you're trying to ring these bells and explore this this environment, and so it's really cool. And just like even some of the times when you're walking across these long platforms and the camera tends to move like very cinematically, it's so beautiful. And so, I really like this game. So far, it's my favorite game of the year.
Yeah, the soundtrack is so good. The soundtrack is so good. It fits the game. It's one of those things that fits the game so well. Yeah. Like, I mean, most soundtracks fit the games. Occasionally you get weird music for things. But like, I don't know, like Tunic was like the music for Tunic is so gosh darn good. It brings you into the game. It's more I hate to say immersive, but it's more immersive to me. Like the music and then like the music is very smartly used because there will be dips where you just hear the environmental sounds.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
like, whew, the music stopped. That means something's gonna happen, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, and the catch with Tunic, man, it's all done by one person.
Really?
Yep, it was created by one person.
Holy wow, that's
This game was announced back in 2017.
Wow.
And just now came out.
They did a great job.
Yeah, it's been in work for a while. It got announced at an Xbox, like at the Xbox conference, E3 conference, I want to say, back in 2017, and went dark for like a number of years until last year. Last year, it got a PC demo early in the year.
Okay.
And then went dark again, and then shadow dropped.
Wow.
It's like the game got fully shadow dropped. It was like, holy crap! I'm like, man, I've fallen in love with this game. This is I mentioned Ollie Ollie World was my favorite game so far this year. This is easily has trumped Ollie Ollie World. It's like there's Tunic, like up, all the way to the top, the tippity top. So like think of a mountain. Tunic's all the way at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And then
great game.
And about 1/3 of the way up the mountain is Ollie Ollie World, and then everything else. So it's like there's a huge gap in how much I've been enjoying Tunic.
Great game and I recommend like people to play it, man. It's so much fun, and it's like the world is just interesting, and like I said, even the little like language that they created for the game, like you're just like, I don't know what this says, but then you're kind of figuring it out and piecing it together.
Yeah.
What
Have you noticed
stuff
that
means in the world?
Have you noticed that some of the stuff starts filling itself out?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I was like,
you're getting bits, as you go along, you get bits and pieces. Or at least it feels like I'm getting bits and pieces, or maybe I'm just like not noticing the words revealing the, you know what I mean? Like it feels like things are unlocking as I go along, and it feels like very rewarding. And again, the in-game manual.
Yeah.
My God.
So cool.
It's again, I would pay bukus of money just to have that in like physical manual, because it's so pretty to look at.
It looks really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that you have to like find the pages in the world to it. So it's right now I don't know how many pages I got, but it's really funny because I go from like page 29 to like page 50. Yeah. Just like, well, what the hell? What are the other pages?
Yeah. So I'm trying to find them, but it's nice and it's really cool to explore. And so such a good game.
Oh, yeah. All right. So now moving on to 3 games that are coming out tomorrow. We're going to start off with Ghostwire Tokyo reviews. Currently, it sits at a 75 on Metacritic. IGN's Cam Shea gave it a 7 out of 10, saying with superb visual design and an incredibly well-realized rendition of Tokyo, Ghostwire gets a lot right, but just doesn't quite have the gameplay chops to push it over the top. And then over on GameSpot, Richard Raekling gave it an 8 out of 10, saying Ghostwire Tokyo's unique supernatural combat and eerie, beautiful open-world paper over the cracks of its subpar story and inconsistent side missions. So I wanted those to you, El. Do these reviews surprise you just based on what you've seen of Ghostwire Tokyo?
No, it sounds about right. That's what I kind of assume how it's feeling, because there's certain games that you kind of, we all kind of, especially in the game, not just game world, but a bunch of different industries, we kind of sometimes look at like for example, give like movie trailers, for example. Sometimes you kind of see the trailer movie and you're like, this looks like it's going to be okay. Or you see something, you're like, wow, this looks like it might be good. Ghostwire kind of, for me, sat in that 7 to 8 area. Mm-hmm. Just even from the gameplay did look cool, but I'm like, something about it, I don't know if it's going to be an amazing game, but I think it'll be a good game. Like, people will play it,
Yeah, like I feel the same way. Like I was excited for Ghostwire Tokyo. I thought it looked cool. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna buy it tomorrow. I confess this. My expectations for this landed where I was my expectations landed where I thought they would. Mm-hmm. I was leaning on the 7 range myself, and I had debated about if I was going to buy it or not. I will buy it probably when it's on discount. Like it's in that range for like, whenever it goes on sale on PlayStation, on PS5, or if it goes on sale on Steam or something like that, catch it during one of those sales. But yeah, like like the thing that got me the most was the story. Like a lot of the reviews have mentioned that the story is not great. The story is not great, and One particular review was actually kind of funny's review. They mentioned that that there isn't really, and I mentioned this too, that I thought this was going to happen, that there isn't really too much horror to it.
Oh yeah.
That it's more the horror comes in that Tokyo is you're basically wandering around Tokyo by yourself, and that is where the eeriness comes from. Is that Tokyo's empty.
Empty, yeah.
And you occasionally find these monsters and stuff, but like there's no like actual like horror jump out at you or anything like that, or stuff like that, which I suspected was going to be the case. But I'm willing to give it a try, but probably not at full price.
I get that.
Which is horrible to say. I shouldn't confess that, but
it kind of, in a way, I don't know if this will make any sense. It kind of gave me like it reminds me a little bit, not that they're the same game, but it gave me the same feeling that I got when I saw like trailers of what's that surveillance game where you can hack stuff and the cameras and hack people's phones. Or
are you talking about Watch Dogs?
Watch Dogs. It gave me the same kind of vibe where Watch Dogs. See, I've played a little bit of the first one, but like it, I don't know what it was about that world, but it gave me the same vibes, the Ghostwire. Even though I know they're not nowhere near the same type of game, it just gave me that same type of like, it's okay, you know, for me.
Yeah, it's the same for me. Like, I'm a little disappointed because I wanted this game to be excellent. I wanted wanted it to succeed because I mean you want always like I would love all games if they could all be amazing. That would be awesome. But it's still 75 is not a bad score to land on. And obviously mileage is going to vary. Some people are going to probably fall completely in love with it. I have a feeling that's going to be the case for a lot of people. They're going to play it and go, man, this game is amazing. I love this game. I'm sure some people are going to go, man, this game is terrifying. But yeah, I'm going to wait for my experience to go down in price.
To get it, I get it.
Next up is Kirby and the Forgotten Lands. I finally got the name right because I have it written. It is sitting at a Metacritic of 85. GameSpot Stephen, I don't know how to say his last name, Petite,
that's what it looks like. Petite.
Stephen Petite gave it a 9 out of 10, saying Kirby and the Forgotten Land is the biggest and most inventive entry in the long-running franchise. And then over on IGN, Tom Marks gave it an 8 out of 10, saying Kirby and the Forgotten Land successfully wraps the series' already fun mix of ability-based combat, platforming, and secret hunting into the third dimension. The post-apocalyptic setting may not be as thematically interesting as Planet Popstar, but it is still lovely and vibrant with cleverly designed levels that make consistently smart use of Kirby's abilities. Elle, are you interested in Kirby at all?
I actually am, because we don't get a lot of Kirby. Kirby is not like a household name. Kirby's like he's just in like Smash Bros. He's had his own games on like Game Boy Advance and GameCube and I'm trying to think of all the other games that he's had.
Kirby Woolly World or something. No, maybe that was Yoshi. Was it Kirby? I can't remember.
But it was I don't know why, but it just feels good to see Kirby come back. I was about to say to the big screen, but come back to the to gaming.
That was Yoshi. That was Yoshi.
But it's interesting. And did you see? Was it they made a Kirby? Is it a Switch stand or a controller?
Oh no, I didn't see that. Does it look cool?
But it looks funny.
Is it in mouthful mode?
It's in mouthful mode, like the car. And so it's like
it's just a skin of Kirby. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a skin of Kirby over the whole thing. And so
that's awesome.
It makes me interested because like sometimes you kind of want to play a game like this where you're like you have your Marios and things like that where you're like, well, hey, you're just going through it and not really having to think as much, not to discredit it like that. I don't want it to sound bad, but just it's like something that you can just get into and have fun with and not take too serious.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not surprised by the score. I would have thought the Metacritic score would have been closer to 90, if not 90 itself.
Yeah.
And so other than that,
I mean that's still good. 85.
Yeah. Still good.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I've ever played a Kirby game. I'm going to get Kirby the Forgotten Lands when I get paid at the end of the month. But I plan on getting Kirby the Forgotten Lands just because all the reviews are hitting the right notes for me. I'm interested in diving into this. This will be my first Kirby game. Nice. I'm familiar with Kirby because of Smash Bros. Like Kirby,
of course,
I know Kirby from Smash, and that's it. Like that's how I know Kirby. That's how I know Meta Knight.
Yeah.
Which Meta Knight's a Kirby character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I only know Kirby and Kirby characters from Smash. I've never actually
I
played any of those games.
I remember watching Kirby had a TV show on like Saturday morning cartoons
Oh
on
my god,
Fox.
really?
And yeah, that's
What
how
was
I
that
found out
like?
about
What was that
it.
like?
It was good. I actually liked the show. It was it was a kid show.
Yeah.
And so I remember watching it, and that's how I found out about Meta Knight. I was like, "Who's this knight-looking Kirby?"
Is
he looks
Meta
so
Knight
cool.
a good guy?
Yes.
Or is he a villain?
Wait, is he a villain?
I
Oh my god!
I don't know. You tell me. I've never seen the cartoon. I've never played the games. I don't know.
I think he's a good guy. I think he was evil, but then he turned good. I think he's one of the.
He pulled
like,
the Dragon Ball Z thing where
Yeah.
Kirby beat him up and then he becomes a good guy. That's what happened in Dragon Ball, right? Goku beats people up and then except Frieza. Frieza never went good. Or Cell.
No, Goku was supposed to be evil, but then something happened and he ended. Oh, so whoever found him, they were good people.
His father Gohan,
grandfather.
Papa Gohan,
Papa Gohan.
whatever he called Gohan. It was the first Gohan, not his son Gohan.
Yeah. But yeah.
And then he killed Gohan on accident.
Oops.
Right? Isn't that what happened? Anyways,
I don't remember that, but
I think that's what happened. I think he turned into the giant, his giant ape form.
Oh, the ape, yeah,
and then smashed.
Gohan,
smashed Papa Gohan.
Papa Gohan.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep calling him Papa Gohan.
Papa Gohan.
I don't know. But no, I'm excited about trying Kirby and the Forgotten Lands. It sounds awesome. I played, like I said, I played the demo. I probably said that last episode. But I played the demo. Really enjoyed the demo. I will say the mouthful mold kind of terrified me at first because it was just like a skin. It looked like someone just wrapped skin around the car with eyes. It was weird. It's weird.
That's hilarious.
But I enjoyed it. From what I understand, it's very linear. It's not like there's not too many deviating paths. So I'm interested in giving it a go and trying it out and seeing all of the other wonderful things you can do in it.
Nice.
So moving on to the final review of the roundup, which is the final big game. There's probably other games coming out tomorrow too.
Probably.
But Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Right now, it is sitting at a Metacritic for PC at an 80.
80. Okay.
Game Informer's Andrew Rayner gave it a 9.5 out of 10. I misspelled, like, this opening sentence is really badly written on my part.
Game Informers gave it.
I missed. I was drunk or something. Not drunk.
Oh my God.
I don't drink anymore. Anyways, Andrew Rayner gave it a 9.5 out of 10, saying Wonderlands is upbeat and fun from the start to finish, offering a rewarding adventure filled with goofy characters, imaginative bosses, and a great sense of ownership over your character through it all. Even with one of Borderlands' most loved characters leading the charge, this experience feels like the start of something new, a rare spin out from an existing series that deserves just as much of the spotlight. Now, we're going into a more negative review that kind of goes against the review from Game Informer. So now we have GameSpot's Darren Bonthus gave it a 7 out of 10, saying, as a spin-off, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands doesn't reinvent the Borderlands wheel with its shift towards fantasy that bears a chaotic neutral alignment. Instead, it explores familiar territory that repeats the best and worst of the Borderlands formula, and it doesn't venture out of its comfort zone. That makes for a game that is packed with solid first-person shooter action and competent multi-class system for creating an interesting fate maker. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands retrends the same mechanical narrative ground as Borderlands 3, ultimately creating a chapter in the franchise that's fun but forgettable. So we have two very differing opinions here. And so I want to start off with, what is your history with Borderlands? Do you like Borderlands at all?
Borderlands was okay. I never really got into it. I didn't have any issues with it. But I just I think I just never gave it time to actually put in. But I did play, like, I think it was Borderlands, the first Borderlands, and I remember it seemed fun from like what I was playing. I remember, but I knew a lot of people really liked it, and then it had this unique art style that kind of people knew about it, and then you had your memorable characters like Claptrap and all these people. But it just I haven't really played through an entire game. It just didn't pull me as much.
Yeah, I've played all of them.
We're just like the reviewers. No.
Yeah, I played all of them. I've played all of them. I've played 1, 2, and I've completed 1 and 2, and then I've played like half of 3, and then got bored of it.
Oh,
And
okay.
also I've played most of the pre-sequel, which is a weird title in itself, but and then I love my favorite Borderlands game is oddly enough not created by Gearbox itself,
Is it
but it's
Tales from the Borderlands?
yeah, Tales from the
Or
Borderlands. I
oh,
love
yeah.
Tales from the Borderlands. It has all the charm and humor of Borderlands without all the nonsense, repetitive grindiness. And that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the big thing for me is that Borderlands always felt grindy.
It does feel grindy, yeah.
And like it's one of those things. This is going to sound horrible. I mean this. Well, there's no way to spin this. Borderlands is a game that if I want to fall asleep, I can play Borderlands and I'll get tired within like the first 30 minutes because like it's just the same stuff
Yeah.
over and over again. There's no way to spin that in a positive light, even though I was going to try to, because I do like Borderlands. Like I do like Borderlands. The humor, kind of outdated, kind of needs to adapt with the times. I guess that doesn't necessarily need to, but it is.
Yeah.
There is dated humor to it that is like, yep, that is definitely 2000 or early 2000 aughts humor. But I think like Borderlands 2 is probably the best one out of the series. And but I'm interested in Tiny Tina. I know there's a lot of people that have issues with Tiny Tina. There's a lot of people out there that say Tiny Tina is annoying and all of this other stuff.
Yeah.
And like to some extent, yeah, I guess she is. But I always enjoyed her as a character. She's just a young, naive kid who happens to be kind of batshit crazy. But yeah, I'm interested in trying Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. This D&D fantasy spin to it kind of makes it interesting. There was a DLC for Borderlands 3, maybe Borderlands 2 or 3.
So,
one of them was Tiny Tina playing like D&D stuff, and that was the whole theme of the DLC. They just brought it to a bigger sort of thing, and which is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. So yeah, I'm interested. I'm gonna play it eventually. I don't feel the urge to immediately play it, but I will eventually because I do like Borderlands, even though I just gave something, even though I just said something that's fairly negative. But yeah, I think Borderlands is fun, especially when you can get a group of friends together and play it with a group of friends. I think it's just it's one of those things where you turn your brains off and just go, have fun, shoot things.
Exactly.
You don't have to be too serious. Borderlands has always been rewarding with your progression with your character. You're always getting the next best gun. You always get something new to add to your arsenal or to enhance your arsenal. And sounds like Tiny Tina is going to do that too.
Exactly.
I am interested in like the total opposites of these two reviews from Game Informer and GameSpot's, like, because they're contradicting each other almost.
Exactly.
Where Game Informer is like praising it, saying it's like taking it in the right direction, whereas IGN's like, or not IGN, but GameSpot is like, well, it's still doing the same shit.
Yeah, I kind of feel like maybe it's somewhere more in the middle in between them, because it's like I feel like the Game Informer review kind of feels like they love the Borderlands franchise, the way that they talk about it, and then the GameSpot review sounds like I hate it. It doesn't like I don't like the series. Why did I have to review this? Yeah. And I think maybe it's somewhere more in the middle, where if you love the Borderlands franchise, you're gonna love this. And if you're not a fan of this, you might think it's an okay game.
Yeah, and it's really interesting right now too. Let me make sure, maybe something has changed, but it's really interesting that only the PC version has a Metacritic score. There's no Metacritic score for the PS5. Yeah, there's nothing for PS5. Xbox Series X doesn't even have reviews up yet. Only the PC version has reviews up, so that's interesting. But yeah, 80. That 80 still good. 80 is a good score.
Good.
It's about where I was. I would honestly. I think I have a feeling like the Xbox Series X version, PlayStation 5 version. I'm willing to bet it's gonna probably be like mid 70s, maybe low 70s. I'd be surprised if it is an 80, because Xbox and console people tend to be a little bit harsher. I've noticed.
Exactly. No, definitely. I wanted to actually pivot to something real quick, because I saw this and I thought of you, because I think you're the first one that got me into this, pivoting from Borderlands. actually, I don't know. I don't know why I forgot, but I'm glad it popped in my head during the podcast. So, did you see that The Wolf Among Us 2 is coming out?
Yeah, I saw that.
And so
Yeah,
I just wanted to mention that real quick. It's not coming out until 2023, but I
yeah,
remember playing that, and I remember being like, "Wow, I like this game." Anyway,
yeah. That's a random thing to insert here.
sorry, it popped into my head, and I had to
Yeah,
get it out
yeah.
because
No
I don't.
worries.
Before we get to our philosophical questions,
Yeah, no worries, no worries. So yeah, on the Wonderland side of things, though, yeah, it's landing where I expect it to. I expected a lower score, so it's a little bit higher, but that's only on PC, and that'll probably stay there because it's at a 59 critic reviews on the PC side, and then again, Xbox Series X and PS5 doesn't have anything. Does PS4 have anything? Nope, nothing for PS4, nothing for Xbox One, because it's also coming out on all systems too, which is pretty
yeah,
cool. So anybody and everywhere can play it, and they have crossplay. So you can, if I play on PC and you play on Xbox or reverse that,
oh,
then
nice,
then we can play together.
nice.
Unless I just made that up, but I'm pretty sure they does. All right. If I misinformed anybody, I apologize. So, with that said, I have a big question that I want to pose not only to you but to the audience. I would love to hear from anyone out there that listening or will listen to this eventually. And the reviews got me thinking about this, and this is a question that I've always kind of asked myself when I've read reviews or when I've seen discourse around a game, is how do you define a good or bad game?
Very true.
So,
Hold on. Sorry, hold on one second. I have to open this door real quick to let my dog out because my dog is
all
crying.
right,
Hold on one second. I'll be right back.
all right.
You can
So
fill the
I will
air.
fill the void. So it's a question that I've been wondering for quite a while. It's a question that's been on my brain for a while. It's something I talk to myself about. I probably shouldn't have confessed that I talk to myself. Yeah, that's probably a bad thing to confess. I swear I'm not crazy.
I came in on a weird part. I'm like, what is going on?
I confess that I talk to myself sometimes.
Oh,
in the
do that
shower,
too.
shower thoughts. But no, like for me, like good or bad game is like a really interesting topic for me, at least how I'm approaching this, because I don't necessarily think games. Well, I'm gonna regret saying this. I don't necessarily think games are bad. Like,
Okay.
is a game? So I guess what I want to say is a game objectively bad? Is there an objectively bad game? Like when you look at it and you
Ooh,
go,
okay.
everything about this game is just bad.
That's an interesting question.
Because
'Cause
like it is at its core, it's art.
yeah,
Video game
exactly.
is art,
It's a piece of art. Yeah. It's the
and
same way.
it's one
Yeah,
of those things that like someone somewhere is going to like it. So does that still make like to that person the game is going to be good or
exactly.
playable?
Yeah.
So it's like for me, so a game that reviews for it are relatively bad. It's a game
Mhm.
called it's called Arcania. It's called Gothic 4. Hold up, let me look at the actual name. Arcania. Yeah, it's Arcania Gothic 4. It has a 64 Metacritic. It has like it's 64 Metacritic on Xbox 360. On PC, it has a 63. User score is at 4.0. This is a game that a lot of people say is a bad game,
Mm.
and playing it for me, I can see why people think it's a bad game. It's buggy as
Yeah.
all hell. The story is kind of bullshit. The combat sucks, but there's something about it that made me want to keep playing it. And I don't know what it was, but I kept wanting to play it, and I played it all the way to the end. And for me, I can see why people say it's a bad game, but I also don't think it's a bad game. It's just a game that requires a certain taste because it is a more. So the Gothic franchise is a series of games that has been coming out since like late 90s, early 2000s almost. And
Yeah.
it is a very complicated like RPG. Gothic 4 not so much because they tried to streamline it to make it more modern and more sensible to those who have played like Skyrim or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so it does deviate from sort of the Gothic formula that it had established. But I don't know. It's just a game that something about it just spoke to me and it made me want to keep playing. And then on the flip side to that, games that people absolutely love, like God of War 2018, I cannot get into. Like, I
Yeah.
recognize it's an amazing game. Like, it has amazing discourse around it, but something about it prevents me from getting into it. Like, I reach a certain point where I'm just like, I don't really I don't have the drive to keep playing. And that's sort of like that with Elden Ring too, like the most recent game. Like I recognize why Elden Ring's a good game,
Yeah.
but it's not clicking with me. So does that mean I think it's a bad game? Not necessarily, because I still recognize that it's still really good. So like, what is a good or bad game? Elle, please help me.
Ooh, I think that depends. I think so. I think it's good. Of course, it's subjective to everyone as to what's good or bad. You know,
Yeah.
we all have our own experience, and then too at the same time, it's all about I think too, like at the age that a certain game hits you or like gets to you. You know, like for example, like I love Grand Theft Auto 3. Like I love that game
Mhm.
because it hit me at the right time, like when the PlayStation first came out. And I was like, holy hell, there's games where you can kill people and like you go on missions and you know, it just was fitting for the time. And for some reason that it stuck with me the same way that Vice City stuck with me because I loved 80s music and I loved the whole aesthetic of the
Yeah.
80s.
You love the Florida feel,
The
Miami,
Florida feel of
Miami
it, yeah.
Vice feel to
The
it.
Miami Vice feel to it, and I just loved the characters. It's so funny because I was thinking about this the other day about those games that I really loved the most. Besides the gameplay, you know, the graphics. Sure, they might not be 4K or whatever,
Mhm.
but it was the small details. I don't. So for example, like in Grand Theft Auto 3 and in Vice City, there's always like a like in I think in 3 it was Chatterbox. You had Chatterbox. It was a radio station and these people were doing like kind of bits or skits.
Mhm.
And that for me made the game so much more enjoyable as well. Just like these characters, like, wow, who thought to there's this guy named Laszlo who's funny and he's like hilarious and they do like little Easter eggs where he's in another station in Vice City. And then
Yeah,
in San
he's
Andreas,
also in. Yeah, he's in all of them, isn't he?
he's in all of them, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's always like, there's like a small backstory where he got kicked off this station and he went to this station.
Yeah.
And it's small little things like that. I'm like, this is so funny. And even though like it's all looped, I never got tired of hearing the skits for some
Yeah.
reason. And I was just like, this is like hilarious. I love this stuff. And so, and yeah, so I don't know. I'm sorry, I went on a tangent, but
No.
but I just for me, that game hit me at the right time, is what I'm saying. Another game that I think a lot of people didn't like. I don't know if you remember this game. It was a 4-player game. I think maybe it's because I liked it so much because I played with my little brother and other friends. It was called Hunter the Reckoning. If you remember this game,
I have no idea what the hell this is. I gotta look this up. What the hell is this?
Yeah, Hunter the Reckoning. So it's a 4-player game. Came out in 2002. They call it a hack and slash video game, where it's like the apocalypse is happening and you play as these characters and they all have different special moves and powers. And like there's a preacher who's got like a sword that's a cross and a crossbow.
I just want to say, it's backwards compatible on Xbox, and it's you can buy it for $15. I'm gonna buy it just to play it.
Yeah, and so like it's just like a hack and slash. You know, you just there's a story to it, but you're just like doing all these cool little special powers. In the same way that another game that I remember, Gauntlet Legends, if you remember that game.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of that same type of feeling.
Wait.
And so Gauntlet Legends, yeah, you remember that?
I think so. Yeah. Gauntlet Legends. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like wizards and like
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I know what it is. Yeah. I played it.
So, but for some reason, I know the Hunter Reckoning, like, yeah.
Its scores are all over the place. IGN gave it an 8.4, and then GameSpot gave it a 4.3, and then it has a Metacritic score of 59. Okay, anyways.
Yeah, no, exactly. But for some reason, that game, like, I liked the design, and it was cool. For some reason, I thought the preacher was cool. I'm like, wow, this guy is a preacher, but he has a cross sword and a crossbow. Like, I don't know why I thought it was cool, but it just stuck with me, you know?
Yeah. And yeah, like, it's one of those things, like, it's hard to really say what I think a good game is and what a bad game is, just because like it does just come down to a matter of taste. Like,
yeah.
So like a game, because you added this question into it, and we'll bring it up now. Is what's a good game for you? Was a question you asked me before we got started on the podcast, and you know I've been having that in the back of my mind. A game that I would go to say is a good game for me, a game that I think. Universally, I think a lot of people say it's a good game, and that's Portal 2. I think Portal 2 is Portal 2 1 is my favorite game of all time. Like it's my number one favorite game of all time, like hard stop. I can say that because like I think that it comes down to the gameplay is incredible. Like it's very simple gameplay. You know, you're solving puzzles, but those puzzles get more complicated as you go, and they add more
Exactly.
elements to keep you engaged. Because you know, you start off with just the portal. You know,
Yeah.
you got the orange, you got the blue portal, and then as you go, you get like the different kind of gels. You know, you got the bouncy
Oh,
gel, the speed gel, all of that. That changes the dynamic and the way you solve these puzzles,
mhm.
and the campaign, the single player campaign, is amazing. You have memorable characters like GLaDOS, and you have
Yeah.
Wheatley.
Yeah.
Wheatley they like Wheatley's turn.
Yeah.
You know, he goes
Yeah,
from
I
being
remember that.
this goofball on your side good guy, and then he goes crazy with power and
Yeah, he
becomes
goes
the
crazy.
villain, and then GLaDOS becomes a potato, and you carry
Yeah.
GLaDOS as carry GLaDOS around as a potato for like the other half of the game, and so it's like it switches things up, it breaks expectations, has a bunch of amazing lore. We have
Yeah.
because you have I want to make sure I get this right. You have J.K. Simmons doing the voice acting over the like creator of all of that stuff. You know, I
Yeah.
can't remember his character's name off the top of my head right now, but Cave Johnson was the
Cave
name.
Johnson. What a name.
Who's like the owner of all of that stuff, and like you hear him talking throughout, like as you navigate
In
through the
bits and
levels and
pieces,
stuff,
yeah.
and it's incredible. You're getting like this world building stuff, and it's funny as all hell. Because it's not just Cave Johnson that's funny, it's GLaDOS being funny, it's Wheatley being funny, and then like mix that with the gameplay. It's just an incredible experience that I think is probably one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had. It's a game that I can still play. It's a game that has aged really well because like it doesn't it doesn't get old. Like the puzzles don't get old. Like even though I've played it like a million times, I still find myself getting stumped sometimes. Like, how did I do this? How do you do this? And then you have an incredible co-op campaign as well, where you play with Atlas and Peabody. I think those are the names, Atlas and Peabody. I think those are the names of the robots, the little Portal 2, Atlas and Peabody. Yeah, Peabody. Peabody. You have an amazing co-op campaign that can ruin relationships.
Yeah.
Because have you ever played it? Have you ever played the co-op campaign with anybody like you're close to?
No, I think I've only I think a while. It was a long time ago, but yeah, I remember playing it, and it's like what I think what you're hinting at is like when you've played it for so long, but then someone else joins along, and if maybe they haven't played it as much,
they don't know what exactly they're doing. You're like, just put the portal over there, man. Just do
it. Exactly. But it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
And like Portal 2 is a fantastic game. Like it's hard for me to think of any negatives about it, but like so for me that is like sort of the pedestal I set up all games. Like I look at Portal 2 and go, okay, is a game going to give me that sort of enjoyment? Am I going to get those colorful characters, a solid story, excellent gameplay? So that's sort of where I hold the standard up to, and like it's going back to God of War 2018.
Oh yeah.
Like the main thing with God of War 2018, even though the combat is good, it's the combat that is preventing me from really going farther because I just don't like the combat, which is probably a weird thing to say about God of War. And this is going to sound weird. Even if I love a story, if the gameplay is not working for me, then I can't keep playing the game. And like I was interested in Kratos and interested in what's the boy's name?
Oh, his son.
The boy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Boy.
But like I was interested in their story, so I just went on YouTube and watched videos. Like because like I was just like, I want to get their story, and the gameplay is preventing me from getting just their story. Like I just want to know what's going to happen. I want to know where they're going to end up. And so I spoiled all of God of War for me because I just wanted the story. I didn't want to sit through hours and hours of gameplay just to get the full story, where I could just watch it in like a 5-6 hour video rather than spending the 40 hours that you needed for the whole campaign and stuff. So
no, exactly.
But yeah, like for like a bad game though, it's hard for me to say because God of War I don't think is a bad game. It's just a game not for me.
Not right, exactly. His son's name is Atreus.
Atreus, that's right. I was gonna call it Astrid, but then I was like, no, Astrid's not right.
No, I get that. It's the same way because I know I remember playing the God of War series on PlayStation 2, and I had fun with that, and I actually enjoyed it. The combat system was very much like just beat them up and you fight these bosses. And so, because I'm trying to think. I guess maybe for me, like the game that people love, it's just like that I don't have a lot of fun with, even though I want to play the latest. Is we always bring it up every podcast, Elden Ring or like the Dead Souls series, the Dark Souls series.
Hmm.
It's like I don't like kind of like you how I kind of relate to you in a sense when it comes to the Dark Souls series. Like I don't see the story, and like if the story isn't grabbing me, or if
Hmm.
there is none that's clearly visible, then it's like, well, why bother playing it? It seems
Yeah.
more like you're just in this thing to see how far you can get, or just say you made it this far in it. Because even something as simple as like Portal, I think is a great example of a game that gave you the story, like gave you the baseline, but then they had these hidden little subtle things, like you hear those voicemails of
Yeah.
Cave Johnson talking to the people in these infomercials, and you're like, you slowly put together the pieces of like other parts of the story and like the world of it, and you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, and it makes it that much more amazing. So, but yeah, I'd say yeah, Dark Souls to me is like I want to be so into that game, but like that series of games, but man, it's just the combat for me and like having to deal with the difficulty
Yeah.
sometimes, just doesn't allow me to enjoy the game.
Yeah, and I think that's a perfectly valid thing to, you know, I think that's a perfectly valid critique in a game. Like, I think so going off Elden Ring, I've mentioned this many, many times. I think Elden Ring is an excellent game. I think it's a
Yeah.
fantastic game. But yeah, like the lack of story, lack of character urgency for me is making me like,
Yeah.
well, I don't, I need something to cling to.
Yeah.
And like
Exactly.
the gameplay is not enough for me to keep playing it.
Yeah.
Like I don't care about overcoming these challenges. I
Yeah.
find the combat just cumbersome, pointlessly cumbersome for no reason at all other than the fact that it's a challenge. And I'm just like, this is not how I want to consume a story in a game. This is not there's the obstacles, and that's sort of like similar to my feelings with God of War. The combat and the stuff just prevents me from fully enjoying and fully investing in this game. Where I do feel that God of War had urgency with your character, with the relationship between Atreus and Kratos. There's nothing of that like that in any Dark Souls game, really. You get all the stuff through lore. You get all the lore and stuff through like the items description and
Mm.
stuff. And I like, yeah, that's cool, I guess. But I have no reason to sit there and read those descriptions, like,
Yeah.
because there's not any other urgency around me compelling me to do that. So it's like those games are hard to get into.
Yeah.
Games that I think that they're called immersive. Their names are now called immersive sims, but it's games
Okay.
like Hitman,
Oh
games
yeah.
like Deus Ex, where you're exploring this like sandbox world almost. Not I
Yeah.
guess not sandbox, but there's when I say sandbox, I mean like multiple like different paths you can take to
Okay.
completing
Yeah.
an objective, and you get information through like little newsletters and stuff like that, and like you're watching you're just watching like your target or go navigating through this world. Deus Ex has more of a story than Hitman does, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't. Oh, man, I'm trying to remember what story there was for Hitman. But
Yeah.
like their idea is the same though. Like you're getting story through little bits and pieces through the world, and I find that more interesting than
Mhm.
just reading descriptions on an item, which I know is kind of weird because there's like virtually no difference. But like
Yeah.
maybe it's also just like I'm more interested in the world of Hitman and the world of Deus Ex. But then
Yeah,
there's
that makes sense.
also actual stories kind of compelling you to go along, you
Exactly.
know.
To figure out
Uh,
how to, the next thing.
yeah. Deus Ex though. I love Deus Ex. I think we lost track here. So
No, it's
so
fine.
so
No, we went
so
into
what
it.
so
We went
what
into
so
it.
what so what is a good or bad game, Al? Say it
Man,
now. You only have one answer. It better be the right answer.
are you asking like for my personal?
Yeah, what
Like,
is your personal opinion, top level thoughts?
Oh,
What is a game that you think is good? What is a game that you think is bad?
oh man, I might upset some people. I think a game that is good, man, because I would say I think it's a tie between two, and they're very different games. A good game. Of course, I love Grand Theft Auto 3. It's probably one of my favorite games forever, even
You
though it's
can't
still
say
like a
Grand Theft
very
Auto. You have to use something
what?
completely.
All right, fine. I'll say Half-Life 2. I think that's
God, you
a
stupid.
really
No, I'm
good
kidding.
game.
It's great. It's good. I love
Like, how
Half-Life 2.
dare you?
I love Half-Life 2.
Amazing game. Like that's another game that's great at giving you the story in pieces, and you
Mm.
kind of pick it up on the way. But anyway, Half-Life 2 is a great game.
Mhm.
What do I think is a bad game? Oof.
It's hard to think of a bad game, right?
It is hard to think of a bad game. I'm trying to think
I know
of.
what mine is going to be.
Oh boy. I'm trying to
It's
see if I can pull up like let me see. I have a bunch of games on here.
good. It's good. You
Oh,
did
no,
too.
no, no. That's more like comic book based. I'm trying to think. I was gonna say Elden Ring. Um
Elden Ring is a bad
but
game. All right, we have it here, folks. Elden Ring is a bad game.
I'm upset. People are gonna be like, "What the hell? You
Yeah.
don't know anything about gaming." No.
Elden Ring's a bad fucking game.
I'm trying to think of like, yeah, it's. Oh, no, no, no. I'm sorry. Great game that I personally enjoyed that some people didn't. Red Dead Redemption 2. Really love that game. Oh,
Yeah.
Bioshock, the first one. I love that game.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you hate that game. I was like, this is the bad. Bioshock's a bad game to you. It has one of the best freaking twists in a video game ever.
Very. I when that twist happened, I was like, what
Would you
the
kindly?
hell?
Would you kindly tell me what's your least favorite?
And it's like echoing and just what?
Oh,
No.
Would you kindly touch a duck? What? Do you want me to do what? What do you want me to do? What, Ryan? Touch a
Oh my
duck?
god, that's hilarious. But as far as like bad game, I say, I, man, I don't even know if like to go back to what you're saying. I don't know if bad game that term really exists. It's more so a game that's not for me. For a person, man, to be honest, as much as I want to play Elden Ring, I feel like the Dark Souls just is not a game for me. You
Yeah.
know?
And I think that's really what comes down to when it comes to like this idea of bad games. I think it's more of taking the approach that the games are just not for you.
Yeah.
Like I don't necessarily because it's hard to say objectively unless the game is just completely broken. I think that is the only time you can say that a game is bad is if it's just broken, like it's completely unplayable, like you can't get any advancement in anything. Like but even then, maybe somebody out there will enjoy that experience, that frustration of trying to get the game to work. I don't know. But I can't think of a single game off the top of my head that has been that for me. I've had games that frustrate the hell out of me trying to get them to work. Like older games on PC don't always work well. Sometimes they can be hoops to jump through because if I want to say that, Deus Ex, the first Deus Ex that came out in 2000 I believe. I have to jump through hoops to get that to work on my Windows 11 PC these days. Because it has to do with like the resolution being kind of crappy and like all of the other stuff. And so I have to jump through hoops now to get it to work, but I still love that game. Like it's still there's hoops to jump through, but but yeah, for me, aside from Portal, because Portal is like my favorite game of all time, a game that I think is a good game would be oh my god, now I'm on the spot now. I can't think of anything. Oh my god. What am I doing? Can I pass? No.
No. Go back to me. Another good game. No.
No, I would say a game that I love. I mean, this is a darling for everybody, for just about everybody. I know there are people that absolutely hate it. And that's Mass Effect. Like I love Mass Effect.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
Mass Effect has everything that I want in a game. It has an excellent story. It has competent gameplay. Like Mass Effect 1 shows its age, but like even with the Legendary Edition that came out last year, it shows that Mass Effect 1 arguably shows its age, but it's still an amazing time. It's still an amazing story. You have amazing characters that you can attach to. You have character urgency. You have a reason to keep playing that game, keep going through the story. And then a game that I would say is just not for me, aside from God of War, aside from Dark Souls and stuff like that, Zelda. Like I've never been, which is really weird because I love Tunic. I fucking adore Tunic. I think it's because of the fox. I'm gonna be real. I think it's because of the fox. But like Zelda's not for me. I don't find enjoyment in any of the Zelda games. Like Ocarina of Time is fine. You know, people love Ocarina of Time. People herald Ocarina of Time as the best game ever. And then same with Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is a whatever game to me. Like I played it once and I played it for an hour and was like, okay, I don't need to keep playing this. I have no interest in it. Like, I just don't. And that's been the way with me for every Zelda game ever. I don't think they're bad games by any means. I just think they're not for me. Like, because if you asked me to play them and review them, Breath of the Wild would not be getting a 10 out of 10 from me. It would probably be landing in like a 7 out of 10. Just because, like, I just don't care for that kind of game, which again is weird because I love Tunic. But granted, Tunic's a different kind of Zelda game. It's more of the classic Zelda game, but still, like,
Yeah.
same with Ocarina of Time. Like, it's
I
weird.
get
Like,
that.
I know people are probably gonna be like, these people are fucking crazy, but it's like it is what it is. Like, I've just never been into those types of, like, into Zelda. Same with Mario. Like, outside of Mario Kart, outside of Mario Strikers, I don't
Yeah.
give a shit about Mario. I don't care at all. Like,
I
Mario
get that.
64, I played Mario 64. I think Mario 64 is the only 3D Mario that I ever played. And then I've never played any of the 2D Marios. I've watched people play the 2D Marios. I've watched people play Mario Galaxy and Mario Odyssey and stuff like that, but I've never played them myself because I know they're not my type of game, even if I play them. Because I'm gonna play them for an hour and be like, okay, I'm done. Never gonna touch this again. But like Mario Kart is fun because of, like, you know, I enjoyed Mario Kart because of college. I enjoyed playing it in the lobby with you and Zach and all the other folks that we would play that with. So
yeah.
And so that's my fun memory. If I didn't have that experience with Mario Kart, maybe I wouldn't be a fan of Mario now, you know? But I don't know. Maybe. I think there's a lot of factors that go into how people view games, and it's going to be different for every person. So I think, like, to answer this question of how do you define a good or bad game, I think it more comes down to the individual rather than just the objective or subjective, because video games at the end of the day are going to be subjective for everybody.
They're art.
Yeah, it's art. It is at its core art. And art is always going to be subjective. You're always going to have, you know, music that you're not going to like. You're going to have music that you're going to love. You're going to have film that you're going to love. You're going to have film that you're going to hate. Even what is that fucking movie called that everybody says is a bad movie, but then there's ironic love for it? The Room, or whatever the hell it's called.
Oh, yeah. The Room.
Yeah. Like, everybody says it's a bad movie, but then ironically, everybody is also like, I love this movie. So it's like, well, if it's a bad movie, then why do you love it? Because it's so bad, it's good. And it's like, well, then it's a good movie, right? Because like, at that point, you just said it. It's a good movie. So it's like one of those things.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's a weird, complicated thing, you know? And I think people get hung up on wanting to be right instead of...
Yeah, that's really what it is.
And I think that's where all the toxicity and, like, this video game console war nonsense comes from, is like this desire to be right, being my game, I'm right, my opinion is right. It's like, no, you just have a different fucking opinion. Get over yourself, asshole. That's
very true.
No, I'm sorry. I just talked for a long time. I apologize.
No, you're fine. You actually said everything that like I was thinking. I agree 100%, and I think it's more so, like I said, everybody's gonna have a different. They're going to gravitate to different things. It's just like, you know, everybody gravitates to a different career. Everyone gravitates to different food that they like, different, you know, sodas or just whatever. It's just, you know, everybody finds their own little niche of things that they like to do.
Yeah, and so we can all agree that grapefruit is disgusting, right?
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay. Woo! Every universal...
Virtual high five. Everybody at the screen.
Grapefruit is the worst thing in the world, and nobody needs to look at it or eat it or touch it. Ugh.
I think that's a perfect way to end this episode.
Right. Don't eat grapefruit.
Don't eat grapefruit.
Oh wait, you need to do the rigmarole. Right. Okay, go do the rigmarole.
All right, thanks everybody for joining this week's episode of Respawn Please. If you're an audio listener, you can join us live every Thursday at 7:00 U.S. Central Time on twitch.tv/Respawn Please. Did we change it to? I forgot. Did we change this one? Is it still Respawn Please?
It's still Respawn Please right now. Now.
Respawn Please, yeah. Or you can also watch the video version on YouTube, which is Respawn Please Podcast on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can find the audio version of the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, everywhere that you can get podcasts. Last thing. Sorry, I forgot the last thing. Make sure you follow Respawn Please. Follow the podcast on Instagram at Respawn Please Podcast and on TikTok at Respawn Please Podcast, everywhere. And thanks for joining us.
Don't eat grapefruit.